Hello, everybody. It's Chastity White Rose here again, and I am doing a live stream. Now, today, I want to cover something rather interesting that caught my attention. You see, a while back, I joined this medium.com website, and you can see that I'm sharing that tab that shows my profile there. So I have a profile on Medium, and see, this Medium site is most interesting, you see, because it allows you to post stories, write stories. It's kind of like a blog, but it has some of the most interestingly written stories. It seems to be a little bit more high quality than you'll just find on people's Facebook posts. People put great effort into the posts they write, and there's a lot of transgender topics. That's part of why I got on this site. And so I'm going to show you a few things. So here's a comment that I left in response to someone. And I have several people that I follow. I'm following 28 people. There's a little bit about me. And yeah, very, very short but accurate description of me. And so this is my profile that sort of shows publicly some of the responses I've done. It's optional. When I reply to a comment, it gives me the option whether I want my comment to be displayed publicly on my profile. So that's the thing, is I have been replying to very interesting posts. So every time that I read an interesting post, I comment on it, I tend to share some things. Now, I also want to mention while I'm here, so let's see, I'm trying to figure this thing out. You see, this Medium site is amazing. There's all kinds of great stories. So I can look at the stories the people I follow have written. There's all kinds of things. I follow certain topics, that sort of thing, usually transgender stuff, because that's what I'm interested in. But I also have 4 stories on here. Now, the stories I have, my published stories, are actually parts of my unicorn story. Now, here's the thing. So you can read my unicorn story on medium.com instead of buying my books. But Medium is an interesting site because the way it works is that people can either read 2 stories a month for free, or they just pay for a membership. And then part of their membership fee that they pay goes to pay a small royalty to the authors of the posts that they read during that month. So that's kind of how it works. So people can get on Medium and they can read my unicorn story. But of course, I have also made it available as a book and an ebook, and the first 2 parts are also on my WordPress blog. So it's important to know that you can read my unicorn story on medium.com. But a lot of what I find myself doing is I find myself replying to people's posts. And let's see here. So what I'll do is I want to go back to the post that I found, okay? Because there were many posts. There are many very interesting posts, and I'm trying to find, because they commented and replied to my comment, and my comment was replying to their comment. So it's kind of the chain of command here or whatever. Very interesting things. So yeah, I'm trying to find, let's see here. Yeah, this is crazy. I haven't quite figured out medium.com yet. Let's see here. That's not the post that I'm looking for. Okay, I'm trying to see if I can find my responses. Okay, where is yeah, I'm going to go back to my profile because there was a very interesting post. Perhaps I should have set it up better before I started the stream. But, oh yeah, here it is, by Gabrielle Blair. Men cause 100% of unwanted pregnancies. So this is a very interesting post. This is a popular post by Gabrielle Blair, and I found it completely interesting. And so that's the thing, is that I wanted to read the entirety of this post by this person, because once I read this post to you, then you will be able to understand why I commented the way I did. And I have been thinking about it ever since, because I don't. Oh, hi, Sovereign. Hi. I see your little comment there. Would you have any interest in joining me in this live stream I'm doing? Because I can invite you so you can join in along with me and talk to me about this. Oh, wow, that headline is terribly false. Interesting. I would value your opinion on why you think this headline is false, because if anybody knows anything about me, you know that I'm about honesty and I'm about free speech. So here's what I'm going to do is I am going to send Sovereign a message to hopefully join this live stream, because I highly value your opinion. Now you can of course comment as you're already doing, but I will also give you the option to join, because you have some very interesting opinions on a variety of topics. You guys might not know Sovereign Lazarus, but she's a Facebook friend. I don't know her very well, but I watch her live streams frequently because she's just awesome and has a lot of opinions. And of course, she's vegan, which is definitely a big plus. So yeah. So anyway, yes, yeah. So okay, yeah. As she commented, I see she said, yeah. First, we have this comment. Oh wow, that headline is terribly false. And then it takes two to tango. So yeah, all right. So what I'll do is I may try to read some of this post. Now people will hopefully be able to find this post, because this post by Gabrielle Blair, as long as you know that name and you know the title, you'll be able to find and read and comment on her post. But this post was very interesting to me, because I have my thoughts on this. I really have thoughts on this, because, well, I don't want to reveal too much, but I definitely have some opinions. So here's the thing. So I'll get started reading about this. Yes, men cause 100% of unwanted pregnancies. Our conversation about abortion places the burden of responsibility on women. I argue men are the root cause. And that was posted September 24, 2018. And yet I recently came across it. So I don't know, I'm not sure, it must be being shared again. So, oh, now this is interesting. Look at this. So this is a mother of six and a Mormon. Okay, yeah. See people, this is a very interesting post, because I had forgotten some of these details. So it is a bit long. It is a bit long, but you know what? I've been known to do live streams before, but I read this post in its entirety, and I so much like the in-depth of this topic. Like, this is incredible. So let's see. It starts out, as a mother of six and a Mormon, I have a good understanding of arguments surrounding abortion, religious and otherwise. When I hear men discussing women's reproductive rights, I'm often left with the thought that they have zero interest in stopping abortion. If you want to prevent abortion, you need to prevent unwanted pregnancies. Men seem unable or unwilling to admit that they cause 100% of them. I realize that's a bold statement. You're likely thinking, well, it takes two to tango, which is exactly what Sovereign just commented, which is so fitting. While I fully agree with you in the case of intentional pregnancies, I argue that all unwanted pregnancies are caused by the irresponsible ejaculations of men, all of them. Don't believe me? And I'm just going to check back every once in a while, see how it's going, because if Sovereign does join, I want to be able to add her into the call here. So yeah, anyway. Okay, let's start with this. A woman's egg is only fertile for about 2 days each month. Yes, there are exceptions because nature, but one egg which is fertile 2 days each month is the baseline. And those fertile eggs are produced for a limited number of years. This means on average, women are fertile for about 24 days per year, but men are fertile 365 days a year. In fact, if you're a man who ejaculates multiple times a day, you could cause multiple pregnancies daily. In theory, a man could cause 1,000 plus unwanted pregnancies in just 1 year. While it's true that sperm gets crappier as men age, it doesn't have a fertility expiration date. Men can cause unwanted pregnancies from puberty until death. So starting with basic fertility stats and the calendar, it's easy to see that men are the issue here. As a society, we really don't mind if women suffer physically or mentally as long as it makes things easier for men. See, yeah, this is very interesting. First of all, this is, I mean, those stats, I'm not sure if those stats are right, but I already, reading this, I have so many thoughts, but perhaps I should just continue with this and at the end share my opinion, and Sovereign, if she gets on, can share her opinion. But what about birth control? You might ask. If a woman can manage to figure out how to get an abortion, surely she can use birth control to avoid unwanted pregnancy, right? Great question. Modern birth control for women is possibly the most important invention of the last century, and I'm very grateful for it. It's also brutal. The side effects for many women include migraines, mood swings, decreased libido, depression, severe cramps, heavy bleeding, aneurysm, and that's just a small fraction of them. Let's see. Yeah, very interesting. Yeah, and see, I want to stop here for just a minute because most birth control methods that women are using are the hormonal birth control pills that have hormones designed to fool the body into thinking it's already pregnant, so the woman stops ovulating so that new eggs don't come, and therefore, even if there are sperm, they can't fertilize the egg. That is my basic understanding of hormonal birth control. But as an educated person knows, hormonal birth control does come with side effects. It does come with health consequences, and it's not 100% effective. So that's the thing, is there's risks about this. So there are problems with hormonal birth control, and many people are aware of this, and yet women keep using it. And so I'm already starting to feel the energy, the intention, the spirit of what this person is trying to say in their post. So with that said, I'll continue. Let's see. Okay, discouragingly, a promising study on a new male contraceptive was canceled, in large part due to, wait for it, side effects. To be clear, this list of side effects was about 1/3 as long as the known side effects for commonly used women's contraception. There's a lot to unpack in that story alone. I'll simply point out that as a society, we really don't mind if women suffer physically or mentally as long as it makes things easier for men. But men, I've got good news. Even with the horrible side effects, women are amazingly, oh, I hear a beep. Hey, Sovereign.
Oh,
Hey,
wow.
yeah,
This is
yeah, yeah. I'm glad you could join. Um, did you want me to continue reading the article, or should we discuss for a bit first?
yeah, you can read it. I'm listening. I'm just
Yeah,
getting set up.
I found this to be a very fascinating post here. So let's see. I'll try to make it full screen so that the deaf people can still read it themselves on the screen.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see here. Yeah, so side effects on men when they tried male birth control. Okay. Even with horrible side effects, women are amazingly very willing to use birth control. Unfortunately, it's harder to get than it should be, but that doesn't keep women from trying. Birth control options for women require a doctor's appointment, sometimes multiple doctor's appointments, and a prescription. They're not always free and often not cheap. Some are actually trying to make female birth control options more expensive by allowing insurance companies to refuse to cover them. In addition, contraceptive options for women can't be easily acquired at the last minute. In most cases, they don't work instantly. The pill requires consistent daily use and doesn't leave much room for mistakes, forgetfulness, or unexpected disruptions to daily schedules. Again, the side effects can be brutal, and not just in rare cases. Despite the hassle and side effects, I'm still grateful for birth control. Please don't take it away. But it's critical to understand that women's birth control isn't simple or easy. In contrast, let's look at birth control for men, i.e., condoms. They're readily available at all hours, inexpensive, convenient, and don't require a prescription. They're effective and work on demand instantly. They don't cause aneurysm, mood swings, or debilitating cramps. Men can keep them stocked up just in case, so they're always prepared. They can be easily used at the last minute. I mean, condoms are magic, so much easier than birth control options for women. As a bonus, most women are totally on board with condoms. They keep us from getting STDs, they don't lessen our pleasure during sex, or prevent us from climaxing. The best part, cleanup is so much easier. No waddling to the toilet as jizz drips down our legs. So why would there ever be unwanted pregnancies? Why don't men just use condoms every single time they have sex? It seems so simple, right? Oh, I remember, men don't love condoms. In fact, it's very, very common for men to pressure women to have sex without a condom. It's also not unheard of for men to remove the condom during sex without the women's permission or knowledge. Pro tip, that's assault. Why would men want to have sex without a condom? Because for the precious minutes when they're penetrating their partner, not wearing a condom gives them more pleasure. So that would mean some men are willing to risk getting a woman pregnant, which means literally risking her life, her health, her social status, her relationships, and her career, so they can experience a few minutes of slightly increased pleasure. Is this for real? Yes, it is.
Yep.
It sounds very much like carnism, that people are, they're fine with killing animals as long as they can get the taste of a juicy hamburger. They don't care who they hurt. It reminds me of that. It's so much.
Abuse is abuse. They don't care. And
yeah. It sounds very selfish. Let's see. Pregnancies happen when men have an orgasm. Unwanted pregnancies happen when men orgasm irresponsibly. Imagine a pleasure scale with pain beginning at 0 and going down into the negatives. A good back scratch falls at 5, and an orgasm without a condom is a 10. Where would sex with a condom fall? A 7 or an 8? So it's not that sex with a condom is not pleasurable, it's just not as pleasurable. An 8 instead of a 10. Let me emphasize that again. Men regularly choose to put women at massive risk in order to experience a few minutes of slightly increased pleasure. For the truly condom averse, men also have a non-condom, always ready birth control option built right in, the pullout. It doesn't protect against STDs. It's an easy joke and it's far from perfect. However, it is 96% effective if done correctly and 78% effective in practice because it's often not done correctly. Still, many men who resist wearing condoms never learn how to pull out correctly. Apparently, it's slightly more pleasurable to climax inside a vagina than, say, on their partner's stomach. Once again, men are willing to risk the life, health, and well-being of women in order to experience a tiny bit more pleasure for roughly 5 seconds during orgasm. Think of the choice men are making here. Honestly, I'm not as mad as I should be about this because we've trained men from birth to dissociate sex and pregnancy. We've taught them that their pleasure is of utmost importance. As a general rule, men get women pregnant by having an orgasm. Yes, there are exceptions. It's possible for sperm to show up in pre-ejaculate, but in most cases, getting a woman pregnant is a pleasurable act for men. But men can get a woman pregnant without her feeling any pleasure at all. It's even possible for a man to impregnate a woman while causing her excruciating pain, trauma, or horror. In contrast, a woman can have nonstop orgasms with or without a partner and never once get herself pregnant. A woman's orgasm has literally nothing to do with pregnancy or fertility. Her clitoris exists simply for pleasure, not for creating new humans. No matter how many orgasms she has, they won't make her pregnant. Pregnancies happen when men have an orgasm. Unwanted pregnancies happen when men orgasm irresponsibly. A woman can be the sluttiest slut in the entire world. She can love having orgasms all day and all night long. She will never find herself with an unwanted pregnancy unless a man shows up and ejaculates irresponsibly. Though our society tends to villainize female pleasure, women's enjoyment of sex does not equal unwanted pregnancy and abortion. Men's enjoyment of sex and irresponsible ejaculations do. Whoa, this is long. Oh, man.
She's pretty savage, especially for a Mormon.
Yeah, I know, like to have a Mormon. So, because that's the thing about this, this is really gross stuff for me to read because I'm so sex repulsed, but I love the honesty. The honesty is just so intoxicating. Like, seriously, this is good stuff because she just tells it like it is.
Yep. And I'm the exact opposite. So, yeah. And even for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's move to the topic of responsibility. Often men don't know, don't ask, and don't think to ask if they've caused a pregnancy. There are often zero consequences for men who cause unwanted pregnancies. If the woman decides to have an abortion, the man may never even know he caused an unwanted pregnancy with his irresponsible ejaculation. If the woman decides to have the baby or put the baby up for adoption, the man may never know he caused an unwanted pregnancy with his irresponsible ejaculation either. Man, how many times do I have to read irresponsible ejaculation? I'm wearing out. My tongue's wearing out. Okay. Either he may never know there's now a child walking around with 50% of his DNA. If the woman does tell him he caused an unwanted pregnancy and that she's having the baby, the closest thing to a consequence for him is child support. Our current child support system is a well-known joke. About 61% of required payments by men are actually made, and there are little to no repercussions for skipping out. In some states, failing to pay child support doesn't even affect your credit. If a man does pay child support, it doesn't come close to what is required by a woman in the case of an unwanted pregnancy. Let's talk about abortion. When the topic comes up, men might think abortion is horrible. Women should not have abortions. Never once do they consider the man who caused the unwanted pregnancy. If you actually care about reducing or eliminating the number of abortions in our country, simply hold men accountable for their actions. If we're discussing abortion law and not how to hold men accountable for irresponsible ejaculations and the unwanted pregnancies caused by them, we're wasting our time. Shift the conversation. Stop protesting at clinics. Stop shaming women. Stop debating whether or not to overturn abortion laws. If you actually care about reducing or eliminating the number of abortions in our country, simply hold men accountable for their actions. What would that look like? A real and immediate consequence for men who cause an unwanted pregnancy. What kind of consequence would make sense? Should it be as harsh, painful, nauseating, scarring, expensive, risky, and life-altering as forcing a woman to go through a 9-month unwanted pregnancy? If you consider abortion, If you consider abortion to be murder, consider this thought experiment. Would you be on board with having a handful of men castrated to prevent 600,000 murders each year? If this argument sounds too provocative, could it be that many of us have a hard time wrapping our heads around a physical punishment for men? We seem to be more than fine with physical punishments for women. Perhaps we care more about policing women's bodies, morality, and sexuality than we do about reducing or eliminating abortions. Here's another prevention idea. All males in the US could get a vasectomy when they are ready to be sexually active. Vasectomies are very safe, highly reversible, and about as invasive as a woman getting an IUD implanted. In most cases, there's some soreness afterwards for about 24 hours, but that's pretty much it for side effects. Take a moment to remember that female contraception options used by millions of women in our country and billions across the world would have well-known side effects which can be brutal and severe, and yes, also include soreness. If and when a man becomes a responsible adult, finds a mate, and wants to have a baby, the vasectomy can be reversed and then redone once the childbearing stage is over. Each man can bank their sperm before the vasectomy, just in case. Don't like my ideas? That's fine. I'm sure there are better ideas, and I challenge you to suggest your own. My point is we need to stop focusing on women if we're trying to get rid of abortions. Think of abortion as the cure for an unwanted pregnancy. To stop abortions, we need to prevent the disease, meaning the unwanted pregnancy itself. And the only way to do that is by focusing on men, because irresponsible ejaculations by men cause 100% of unwanted pregnancy. Ask yourselves, what would it take for you to value the life of your sexual partner more than your own temporary pleasure or convenience? If you're a man, what would it take for you to never again ejaculate irresponsibly? A loss of money, rights, or freedoms, physical pain? Ask yourselves, what would it take for you to value the life of your sexual partner more than your own temporary pleasure or convenience? Men mostly run our government, and men mostly make our laws. In theory, men could eliminate or drastically reduce abortion within months without ever touching an abortion law or even mentioning women. They'd simply need to hold men accountable for irresponsible ejaculations and legislate accordingly. To reduce or eliminate abortions, stop attempting to control women's bodies and sexuality, because unwanted pregnancies are caused by men. Whew, that's the end of it, finally. You see, it has over 59,000 claps and 278 comments. It's like one of the most popular posts I've ever seen in my life, you know? And so, yeah, I finally, yeah. I mean, it's a good post. It's well written. And so I read that thing. So I think we should discuss it. I think we should talk about that, because here's the thing. I value your perspective, Sovereign, because I know how outspoken and honest you are. I've seen your live streams, okay? And also because in a situation like this, because abortion and all women's sexuality, that's considered a woman's right to speak on that, nobody will listen to me on that because I'm a biological male. Even though I'm trans and I feel like I'm female inside, people don't take me seriously. So really my cis male privilege doesn't account for anything. But what I'd like to do is we can each share our opinion on this post. Would you like to start, or should I?
You can. I mean, I thought it was pretty clickbaity, the title. That's why I said that. But
yeah, you know. It's interesting, and I think it becomes more clarified what she's saying as you go in on it. But it is a very catching title, which is why I read it, of course. So the thing about it is, I view this as a very interesting thing, because as a biological male who was a 33-year-old virgin and who has never had sex with another person, consensually anyway, you know, there was the sexual abuse done to me against my consent as a child. But so I'm a virgin. I've never ejaculated inside someone's vagina or even thought of wanting to do it because I'm a sex repulsed asexual. So to me, I find this post so amazing because first of all, I am someone who is castrated. I had an orchiectomy. I was having testicle pain and I wasn't using my testicles. So I finally found a doctor willing to remove them for me, and I'm fine with that. And yet here I'm reading about how men love their testicles so much, and how they wouldn't want to be castrated, and how their ejaculations are causing these
Oh yeah.
unwanted pregnancies. And I'm like, well, I just don't understand, why do they want to ejaculate inside women anyway? And this goes back to, what I shared before, with that post on Facebook recently. I saw the ad about Vagina Appreciation Day, and I was so confused. It confused me so bad. I'm like, well, if women can just orgasm so easily, like this post that I just read says, and like that woman in that aloe vera ad, I'm like, why don't they just masturbate and orgasm all they want? They don't have to worry about unwanted pregnancy. They don't need to worry about hormonal birth control. And then, like I said, they can just try to open the jars that they can't open. Maybe they can use their vagina to open those jars. I don't know. Or at least find some way to do it. I mean, hey, I'll even open the jars for myself if it means that they don't have to get sexually involved with some other man and cause an unwanted pregnancy. Like, seriously. Like,
You would think logic, but the women are lying. They be lying. They do. It is 50-50. It really is. Because they can just as well go without dick, just like you're saying. We could just as well. It's not like no one's gonna die, no one's gonna go crazy. Like, no. Nothing bad medically gonna happen. Well, it's they someone and blame the males, but it really is 50-50.
yeah, well, here's the
Because
thing
of
about
that.
it. Yeah, well, here's the thing about it that's so strange about it is that when people discuss the topic of abortion and unwanted pregnancy, then what happens is the pro-choice advocates, they like to bring up, the situations of rape. And I'm like, okay, fine, you can talk about that, but the majority of pregnancies are probably still not caused by rape. They're probably by consensual sex. It takes two to tango, like you said, that sort of thing. And so this is what I find weird. I find like, what do I even think about this? This is strange because I don't understand, why men want to ejaculate so much. But I am think at the same time, well, these women, if they can have an orgasm without a man involved, then why do so many unwanted pregnancies happen? I'm having a hard time understanding what's the psychology of humans. What was that word?
Codependency.
Codependency.
I think my internet is being weird.
Yeah, a little
Is my
bit.
internet being weird on your end? Because it is on mine.
Yeah, your audio cuts in and out a little bit. Your video's a little choppy too. So I had to ask you to repeat occasionally. But yeah, see, so this codependency though. So what do you mean by that? Are you still there?
Humans are codependent by nature if they don't do the work. Yep. How about here, I'm going to go back out to the main house because I came out here because it's quiet. But I'm going to go to the main house because the internet can be crap out here.
Yeah. Yeah, at least my internet's strong because I have wired internet.
Ooh. Is that better?
Yeah, we'll see. At least I can hear you right now. It's dark wherever you're at. That's fine.
Is that better?
Well, I can hear you at least. So hopefully it won't cut out too much. It's dark where you're at, but that's fine too. You can just be the dark one. Oh, and now there's some light. Yeah. So this codependency,
Yeah, that's why I said trying to get set up because my internet down here sucks.
yeah. Let me use the restroom real quick while you're getting positioned there so we can discuss this properly.
Nope. Let me try and fix this. My cat's probably gonna yell at me. Because he's waiting for his wet food.
Yeah.
I don't have
See.
it, Sammy. I'll come home soon. No, salmon. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. You there?
That should work. If
Okay.
not, then whatever.
Okay. Yeah. We'll see how it goes. Yeah.
Yes.
See.
Is that better?
Yeah. A little bit better. Yeah. You got like some orangish, reddish light on you now. Yeah. So I have a hard time understanding people because how they're dependent on each other in such a way. Because being a single person and celibate, like I don't understand the human psychological dimensions of what people do. And people try to explain it to me, and it only confuses me worse. Like, well, of course, some people don't even try to explain it to me. You know, they're just too busy actually having sex with random people. But they don't explain it. They're using a different type of brain. I swear, like I don't get them. You know, because I'm autistic and asexual. I think with a certain logical mind. Well, okay, I'm pro-life and I think that abortion's murder. Therefore, well, I'll just be celibate my whole life. I'll never get anyone pregnant. Therefore, I'm never causing any abortions to happen because I won't get anyone pregnant. Still a virgin at 33, almost 34. It's logical to me, and yet, I mean, the other men don't do that, and it's like they have the power to do that, but they don't want to. And as this post that I just read is saying, that they don't even necessarily have to be celibate if they use condoms. At least that's what it's saying. Although I have heard that condoms can break too, which I'm not sure why in the 21st century there's not such a thing as an indestructible condom. You would think the technology exists to create an indestructible condom.
It happens.
You know? Yeah, I don't know.
Usually it's more of an operator error thing.
What was that? Yeah, your audio cut out for a little bit, I think.
Right. I don't know if my internet is going to work because I just don't know. Let me see.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Yeah, 'cause I hope it does, because I'm getting into this topic. In fact, maybe. Oh, now I hear you a little bit louder.
Well,
I wonder if I should use my headphones just to reduce the feedback of this. Well, actually, I don't want to mess with anything, because last time I did that when I was setting up with Vegan Ariel, then my camera came disconnected as I was trying to touch my PC to plug things. But yeah, so what were you saying when your audio cut out?
Oh, it's laggy. It's super laggy. Is it still laggy?
Well, I hear you good right now, but there might be some lag on your end as you're trying to hear me too.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah,
Oh, a
yeah,
little bit.
because
I hear you very laggy, and I see you clearly, but it's laggy.
yeah,
I
I
read
see.
lips really well, so I'm like,
Oh,
yeah.
well, maybe you can read my lips, at least for what I say. Um,
I can hear you
but
clearly.
yeah, okay, good. Yeah, so, but what the article is saying is that men get more pleasure out of not using a condom. And so they don't want to use condoms because they like the pleasure, but the women would prefer that they use condoms so that they wouldn't give them STDs and unwanted pregnancy. So it does sound like a very selfish thing, just like the carnism, like I mentioned before. It's a very selfish thing, and it's very strange. So, see, I sort of feel like to a certain extent that she's kind of right and that men are 100% responsible. That's kind of how I feel because bottom line, if they want to be celibate or use condoms, men have that power to do that. It's within their power. And so men can end or at least reduce abortion by their own actions, you know? And because men are physically
Oh yeah,
stronger,
absolutely.
they have the power. It's a lot easier for a man to rape a woman than a woman to rape a man. I expect that if it would take a gang rape by women to rape one man, like it would take 3 women to pin one man down because of his strength. So I can see why placing more
Yeah.
responsibility on the man than a woman makes a lot of sense. But do you disagree that men are 100% responsible because of that?
Well, and we know too. That's the thing. Like, it could go either way. Like, a woman could choose not to engage, or a man could choose not to engage. It really about it because it takes a certain kind of woman to get with a dude that's just straight up like no condom, like I don't care, YOLO, like whatever. That's a woman that actually gives a shit isn't going to do that. That's real talk.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, and the thing is,
little
like,
little
I've just,
low
yeah,
level dudes. It's
it's very interesting because, like, when you look at some of the dudes that
like
women
me.
date, what about you?
Yeah. I'm like, I will only date men that have had the snip, and they must be vegan, and they must measure up the rest of my lady list, or that's it. There is no compromise. But most people alone, women, are not like that. And I know this
Yeah.
is specializing in matchmaking in my astrology that I've been doing for over 20 years. So it's real weird that people will actually choose self-harm and to harm another over actually giving a shit, because there's no other way to there really there isn't. It's either you care or you don't. And you know
Yeah. Well, yeah, see, you have standards unlike a lot of other people, and I find it strange because I see so many women who are dating such jerks that obviously, have sexist issues where they treat women as less than they don't respect women. And it also just fits into the general fact of people, especially young people, making bad choices like texting while driving. Drunk driving, texting while driving, all kinds of things that are known
oh
to
yeah.
be dangerous and illegal, but people do it anyway. And so I have such a hard time understanding this because I don't mean to make myself sound like I'm the smartest person in the world, but it just feels like I am because by comparison, the people, even my age and especially younger, do things that I have never done. I've just never done these things, and I can't take credit or
Oh yeah.
blame for that. But you know what? I think autism. I really think my autism, because like my mind is just like, ooh, that's a nice polygon. What's the name of that polygon? Oh, and maybe if I build things this way in Minecraft, then I can achieve this. You know, that I'm thinking video games, I'm thinking about cartoons, what some cartoon characters should have done in a situation instead of what they actually did. And I'm thinking philosophy. I'm talking philosophy with my good friend Pafo, as and it's like that's my life and the things I'm thinking about. And then the other men, the way other men think and the way they talk too. I've been around men. I've been in the Navy. I've heard men talk nearby me, and they're like, "Whoa, dude, she's hot. I'd fuck her." That's the way men talk. And I'm like,
Yep.
seriously?
Yep. And then
And
sports. Yep. Yep. And then
yeah,
they do it in front of us, right in front of us, like we aren't even there
yeah, it's weird,
all the
and that's
time.
yeah, and having never having thought the way they do, I grew up so confused, and I'm still confused to this day. I mean, I did publish a book, Confessions of a Confused Virgin. Man, that was a wild book. But yeah, like I remember in that book, yeah, yeah. It was a good book. There was a section in there called bad dating advice that will probably keep you single or whatever. And I suggested that the women make themselves as ugly as possible in order to help men not be sexually attracted to them, so that the men would only be interested in them for their personality. But unfortunately, it's very hard for people to be successful at being ugly if they're
Oh,
beautiful.
they
It's
don't
just really
care.
hard.
They don't care.
Who doesn't care?
Oh, they don't care. Trust me. They don't care.
Do you mean men don't
The
care
girls
how
don't care
women?
about that.
The girls don't care or the guys don't
As
care?
long as receive. No, no, they don't.
Some of your audio is
Males
cutting
don't
out.
care about what women look like. They really don't. It's just those kind of males. Damn it.
Yeah. So yes, I did get what you
Yeah,
said,
I don't know
that
if my
males
internet
don't care how women look.
sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. The thing is, they talk like they care.
They don't. They just care. They just care if they perceive male.
Hmm. Yeah, it's interesting. It's sort of like the
They
strange
definitely don't. If
reaction.
they cared, the ugly girls at titty bars.
Hmm. Yeah, it's weird.
My
Yeah,
internet's
I think you
terrible.
might. Yeah, I think you
If they
might be
cared, the
right.
other girls at titty bars would not be making money, and they make the most.
Huh. Interesting. Maybe it's a facade these men put on to act like they care about how people look, but what it comes down to, then they don't really care. It's sort of more of an act. And there's also the fact that the way these straight men act about trans women, like when they're dating a trans woman, but they don't know the person's transgender because the person doesn't tell the man that they're a trans woman, and so they don't actually have a vagina. And then when the men find that out, then they're all upset. So because it seems like they only care about if somebody has a vagina for them to have sex with. That
Yeah,
seems to be all they care about. So the trans women, now I'm not don't want to stereotype here, but
because
I think there are some male to female transgender people who transition thinking they'll be attractive to men because they're attracted to men, you know. And so they think, oh, well, if I take hormones and have surgery and make myself look like a beautiful lady, then these men will date me, all while forgetting that that's not actually their appearance on the outside isn't what those men care about. So everybody ends up really confused. Yeah, there seems to be a yeah. Yeah, Papa notices our audio delay. It's too bad the internet has to screw up. That is so sad because I really care about hearing Sovereign's opinion and I'm not getting to hear it.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, that is so sad. Huh. Yeah, internet's screwed up. Maybe it'll improve. I mean, I'm willing to keep going for a little bit longer. Um, or or maybe there's a way like because I think there's a way to still have your audio on even if the camera's turned off, which might mean it would only be transferring the audio data from your end. That's one way of possibly doing it. I wonder. But yeah, bad connections are so sad.
Let me try. Let me go to the other Wi-Fi. Let me see.
Yeah. Yeah, but this is an interesting topic. So, Pafo, I see your comments there. In case you missed it earlier, we were reading a post called Men Cause 100% of Unwanted Pregnancy, uh, and by Gabrielle Blair on Medium. And it's a very interesting and long post. And I commented with some of my own responses. I was thinking of sharing that, but oh, okay, I see Sovereign, but I don't hear her. Let's see if can. Let's see. Can we get the audio back? All right. Are you there?
Is this better?
Okay. Now I hear you,
Is
at
this
least for
better?
now.
Laggy.
I hope so. It's still a little bit laggy. I'm okay. I know
Yeah,
what I'm gonna.
I can hear you and see you.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Hopefully it'll start working out better. So,
Yeah.
you may have tried to say some things that I missed earlier, so I'll try to wait and listen for you.
I don't think it's gonna work, dude.
How
Fail.
sad. Yeah, we may have to do a sequel, a part two, once you have a better internet thing going on. That is so unfortunate because it's such a good topic to talk about. But yeah, I just
It's on 5G. It's on, I'm at home on 5G.
yeah. Yeah, it's strange, and I don't even have 5G. I have whatever there was before that. I'm plugged in by Ethernet cable directly into the modem, which is plugged into the cable outlet. So I have a strong wire connection. That's where I always get the best connection. But Wi-Fi is very hit and miss. Hmm. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I'd like us to be able to
Yeah,
continue, but
yeah, my phone does not like this uh,
that is so.
StreamYard. I've never been on StreamYard, and my phone has never acted like.
Yeah, that's weird. Yeah, I wonder. Yeah, this is see, StreamYard is. I mean, it's a great platform, obviously, and some people have used it with their phones and their computers before with success. But I wonder if there's any options for changing like the bandwidth or anything that I can do on my end to get a better thing. In fact, what I'll try is if I turn off my camera and it just shows my little icon there, but still shows my name. I wonder if that will result in any better quality or not. I'm not sure. For you, you should still be able to hear me. Huh. How strange. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, because I was so getting into this topic, and I wanted to have a Sovereign on a live stream anyway, because she has such interesting opinions on things. But yeah, So I don't know what's going to happen with the audio and video exactly. But does anyone who's watching, which technically we don't, oh, Sovereign left. Oh, it froze my phone, so I dropped the call. Okay, yeah, that is too bad. That is really too bad. So, but I suppose what I can do is, since Sovereign won't be able to continue most likely because of bandwidth issues. I know that. Yeah. Why does the internet have to just to screw up right then? Just internet troubles. It is so sad. But if we ever get that worked out, we may have to do a part two. But I don't want to end this live stream before I have shared my own comments that I left on Medium, because I did leave comments. There's a lot of comments that people left on this article. So let's see here. Oh, wait. Oh, those are other posts. Okay, I know. I need to go to the comments section here. So, oh, wow, this is interesting. There's a lot of comments by other people. Obviously, I can't read all 278 comments, but maybe a few here. Someone named Samuel Taylor Coleslaw said, "You are claiming that men cause 100% of all unwanted pregnancies. Surely without male orgasm, there can be no pregnancy. But your article seems to absolve women from any responsibility. What about the case where a woman deceived her sexual partner by pretending to be using the pill, although that was not true, and thus causing a pregnancy, assuming it was not in the interest of the man, but in the woman's interest? One example why her piece fits perfectly the narrative of the oh so oppressive and predatory man." So if she says she's on the pill, that absolves the man from using birth control. Also, she's trying to get pregnant. That would be an intentional pregnancy. If he isn't interested in her intentional pregnancy, then he better use a condom no matter what kind of birth control she says she's on. Yeah. So, well, yeah, anyway, people can read the comments, but yeah, this seems to be a topic that really gets people fired up. I mean, it's gotten me fired up, and there's so many comments here. I wonder if I'll be able to see my comment, because my comment was not very long ago. Man, so many comments. It would take me hours just to read all of the hundreds of comments on this post. That's incredible. So if I want to read my own post, let's see, if I scroll down, I may just have to go back to the section of my profile that had, yeah, let's see here. If I go back to my profile, let's see, I'm going to click here and try to click my profile page. I'm going to check StreamYard, just seeing. Okay. We have a few new comments here. So let's see what we have. Okay, so about what you were saying, straight male guys just want a biological female because that's what they desire, and it's only common decency for trans persons to give full disclosure before they get involved sexually. Completely agreed there, Pafo. You need to just make sure that's known before people get involved in that way, because it doesn't end up pretty. And then Sovereign has a comment. He's wanting to focus on a very small fraction of a cause of pregnancy, referring to that comment that I was reading earlier on that post. Let's see. It's not that just that they want a vagina. They just want the whole package. Nothing wrong with that. Let's see. Honestly, nothing is going to change until the males start getting held legally responsible, and it actually becomes a crime to dip and dash, per se. Yeah, like, how, I don't know how it will happen, but like the whole situation would change if the males were held legally responsible for these things, because I that's what I want. Is I want for things to change, because people change what they're doing rather than necessarily even laws changing. except changing laws in pertaining to men and their responsibility, of course. See, my cousin's ex did that to him, lied about birth control to get back at him and keep him, and ended up having 2 more kids without him knowing. Very interesting to think that people do that. Like, that's pretty weird. Like, what is wrong with people? Seriously. Yeah, I don't know. So, and I'll be checking back for more comments you guys leave. But since I'm sharing, what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll down. Let's see here. Let's see. Here's one thing I did. I posted here. Okay, let's read more okay, so here was my comment on that post. I am a biological male who vowed celibacy many years ago. I agree entirely and have always placed 100% of legal responsibility on men for all pregnancies, whether wanted or unwanted. Like you said, men could end abortion without a single law, but would require them to not have sex with any woman who did not want to be pregnant. There should be actual written signed contracts of consent before sexual acts that both partners agree and sign to. The abortion rate would plummet. Also, I was voluntarily castrated on September 17th, 2020 because of testicle pain. I am still alive and doing fine. That's why I know that castration really is not so bad, but it took forever to find a doctor willing to do it for me because some people like to control men's bodies too and insult them by assuming they don't know what they want. Yeah, that was my post on that comment. So I think that might have actually been my only comment on that post, but I left so many comments on so many posts that I couldn't keep track of which comments for what post. Let's see here. Let's see, we have more comments. There be some evil bitches out there. I will never deny that there aren't. Let's see, and she put him through hell, but he loves his kids and he's a great dad. Well, that's nice. Yeah, it's some crazy stuff though, isn't it? Like, I have a really hard time understanding this because see, this is how I feel is this is some complicated, messy stuff. And quite honestly, I tried to think about this. And I tried to think, even, let's just say for the sake of example, let's do a thought experiment. Let's pretend that, let's say that I was heterosexual and I still had testicles and I even had to consider this kind of thing. Then I still don't know if I would be able to trust a woman about whether she was intentionally wanting to have kids when I didn't. So there's a trust issue, and how can you ever completely trust another person and know that they're not lying to you? Trust is a serious issue because people lie to each other, and I get really sad because people lie and they make vows at their weddings and they promise all these things, and then you find out that they lied, and then people ended up getting divorced later, and it's sad and it's messy. And this is the thing is I read articles like this and it just makes me seriously question what's wrong with people. And I'm very glad that I didn't have to deal with a lot of this stuff. So I'm lucky because I was asexual. Is the thing. We have another comment. But he stayed with her and got her pregnant again after she did it once, and he didn't put the pieces together. Come on now, nobody is that stupid. Unfortunately, Sovereign, people really are apparently very stupid, just like the texting and driving thing like we talked about earlier. Like, oh man, it's sad. It's a very sad thing because I think about this. Like, it's a crazy thing because I try to understand people. I really try to understand people. And I think about this like it doesn't always work because, me being, anti-natalist and not wanting the human race to go extinct through non-procreation, I think about this and I think, well, listen, if I was straight and if I still had testicles and if I believed procreation to be some great positive thing, like let's say that I believed that somehow my sperm was magical and would produce the ultimate vegan activist that's greater than all of the vegan activists combined, and that that child would be the one that would make everybody vegan by their great arguments and the whole world goes vegan, it's still unethical to put that responsibility on a child and force them into existence. And also there's the issue that the woman still has to consent to that. And then it makes it even stranger because how does somebody have sex with someone when they're not attracted to them and they're not in love with them? I don't even know. How does this even work? This is crazy. I don't get it. Man, this is crazy. Yeah. Let's see. They make excuses, but they know. Claiming ignorance is literally man's law. The one. The one? Wonder what that means. It's strange. But yeah, I do have a really hard time understanding people because, obviously, somebody who was an actual heterosexual man and who actually was in situations like this would have more experience than a nerd like me. So I know I'm not the most qualified person to speak on this topic, but I'm one of the few willing to face this and look this in the eye. That's the thing. Let's see. I have never known. I've never been that way myself. I'm a demisexual. Yeah, and I know what demisexual means. A demisexual is someone who's only sexually attracted to someone after they have a strong emotional bond with them. They understand. Oh, we have a funny comment by Neo Skeptic. I am biosexual. Does that mean you're sexually attracted to life or things that are living? I hope so. Otherwise, your only other option is necrophilia. Oh, I am only sexually attracted to other biopantheists. Neo-skeptic likes to joke. Neo-skeptic really likes to joke. Neo-skeptic is just such a riot, seriously. One of my best commenters. But yeah, so it's weird because I think about this. I really think about this because, okay, while I'm at it, since I'm deep in a live stream, why don't I talk about masturbation? Let's talk about masturbation and what, I think that we can solve well, here's the thing is, my first thought is that we can solve the problem of abortion and end abortion if everybody just masturbates and orgasms their own way without getting sexually involved with another person. You would think that would work. And yet there seems to be, we got another comment. Veg sexual. Yeah, only sexually attracted to vegans. Yeah. But yeah, that's the thing is, so you would think people would just masturbate to solve this problem. But it seems that, well, for one thing, there's a lot of shame in masturbation. Religions teach people that masturbation is a sin, sort of like how they like to teach that suicide is a sin and that sort of thing. So, so I wonder, let's say that there were none of these harmful religions and the people were not shaming people for masturbating. Imagine if masturbation was like a topic that people were just allowed to talk about, that talking about masturbation was the same as talking about video games or talking about Japanese cartoons. It was let's say it was on that level. So people just talked about masturbating. And so, I mean, this is strange because, see, where I first learned about masturbation was a Catholic that I talked to online. I kid you not. I'm not going to say the person's name, but I was actually in a programming forum a long time ago. But there was this chat room, and we talked about computer programming languages, but also politics, religion, several things. And there was we have comments here. I could never be with a non-vegan or a smoker or someone under 30 ever again. Someone under 30. Interesting. Imagine that religion didn't exist. Now that is heaven. Yeah. Yeah, it's like that song Imagine by John Lennon, But yeah, it's interesting because I remember how this Catholic person that was Catholic at the time told me about masturbation, and I didn't know anything about masturbation. So me being the nerd that I am, I tried to Google masturbation, and that didn't turn out very well. I kind of got grossed out. And I remember it probably wasn't until maybe months or a year later that I even figured it out. Yeah, it's weird. Yes, just destigmatize it. It would help a lot of people overcome their guilt and shame. Yeah, and the thing is, when I did masturbate for the first time, I don't remember getting pleasure from it. In fact, I was grossed out by it, and I wondered why people like doing it so much. So I'm definitely the exception to the rule, but at the same time, back in those days, I did feel guilty about it because I had heard that it was a sin, and I was heavily under the influence of Christianity. And yet, did you know that there is actually no reference to masturbation in the Bible? I'm serious. There is no reference to masturbation in the Bible. Now, people bring up the Onan story and try to say it's about masturbation when it is in fact not. It was about that guy Onan who did the pull-out method, and so he was having sex with someone and then pulled out and spilled the seed on the ground, as they said. And so God struck him dead for that. Because the moral of that story is God wanted him to get that woman pregnant, and because he didn't want to and he was trying not to, God struck him dead for that as punishment. So people then tried to interpret that story that God will strike you dead if you masturbate. But if that was true, then a lot of people would be dead if God just struck people dead who masturbated, So it's very weird. Let's see. We must not idolize the penis. Okay. Yeah. So I don't know, but it's very strange. Yes, we do. I'll show this again. Yes, just destigmatize. It would help a lot of people overcome their guilt and shame. So here's the thing is, first of all, there's no biblical basis for saying that masturbation is a sin, even if you are a Christian and even if you do believe in the Bible. But if you're secular or an atheist or agnostic or some other religion, you probably still don't have any reason to be guilty over masturbating, and yeah. Isn't it amazing how the Bible literally gets everything backwards? Yeah, the Bible is pretty backwards, but it's even worse than that because people try to say the Bible says things that it doesn't even say. They say it does things and it doesn't. And yeah, people get things backwards, regarding the story of Onan. People they misinterpret the stories that are there. And so I knew that masturbation wasn't a sin. Even when I was still a Christian, I came to understand there was nothing wrong with it. And from a logical, moral perspective, masturbation isn't a sin because you're not violating someone's consent if you're doing something to yourself, and you're not giving someone else a disease. You can't give yourself a disease either. You can only give yourself a disease you already have, so you already have it, You can't get yourself pregnant by masturbation. There is literally no ethical issue, and I don't even think there's an actual religious issue with masturbation and why it's called a sin. I think people just made that up. And I think, okay, my personal theory about why religions like to teach that masturbation is a sin is because if everybody just is masturbating, they'll be doing that. They won't be going to church. They won't be putting their tithes in the offering, and then they won't bother having sex with other people and getting married. They won't procreate, and therefore the church loses all the members because they all are off doing their masturbating and they're not participating in the religion. And religions want to retain control over people's sexuality, so they had to make them believe falsely that masturbation was a sin. So this whole thing that masturbation is some bad, sinful thing is just a scam made up by religious people who don't want you to masturbate. They want you to have sex with other people. Well, and yet they only want you to have sex with someone of the opposite sex. They don't like gay people. For whatever reason, they tend to not like gay people. So that's a whole nother issue. So they're very much, religions tend to be very pro procreation. So when people are gay and they do things that whatever it is they do, or they masturbate, then they're not going to cause procreation. So that's definitely a plus for somebody who wants to reduce unwanted pregnancy or is anti-natalist and against procreation, you know. But religions don't like that because they want people to procreate. Because if they don't, if their members are not producing children, then they can't indoctrinate those children with the religion. The religion loses members and they lose financial income, and the religion collapses and goes bankrupt. Because religion is basically a business. That's how I see it. That's just my opinion. That's sort of my theory. That's a good theory, Chas, but I think it has more to do with just their own idealized concepts of purity and what it means to be pious and close to God. An interesting thing for me personally, because now I named myself Chastity White Rose. I literally named myself this name because chastity is a meaning of celibacy, you know, and the white rose represents virginity and purity and those things. So I believe in purity. I like the idea of purity and keeping myself physically, as well as other forms of purity. I care about, you know, about purity, but I don't think my concept of purity is the same as the concept of purity in these world religions. I think my concept of purity is more about the purity of being an honest soul, to be an honest person, to be a good person, and to be compassionate and kind and nonviolent. That's what being pure is. And I just sort of adopt, you know, the fact that I'm pure sexually with, you know, and I fit that into my model of purity because I happen to be a virgin. But if I wasn't a virgin, or if you're not a virgin and you've had sex before, that doesn't make you impure. That doesn't mean you should be ashamed or guilty for it. You know, I personally recommend celibacy for the problems it solves. But I don't want people to be shamed because they've had sex before. You know, I don't want people to be shamed or guilty, because when people are ashamed and guilty, then they're not thinking rationally and they make worse choices that make them more guilty and ashamed. So the guilt shame cycle just gets worse and worse. So people are guilty, so then they do other more dangerous things to distract themselves from their own guilt. And that's why religion has so much power over them. That's just my observation. I could be totally wrong, you know. Let's see. Also, historically, Christianity has always been anti-pleasure. It does seem that way. Like anything that's fun, like when they wanted me to stop dancing. There are churches that don't allow dancing. There are churches that don't allow musical instruments. There are so many, and then there are Christians who have been against people playing card games. They're against people, like it's crazy. All the things that they're taught are a sin. If it's fun, it must be a sin. Like I was raised back in the time when, you know, Pokemon was becoming popular in the late 1990s, and Christians were all freaking out. It was the satanic panic era, and everything was satanic. Everything was of the devil and evil, and they were teaching in churches that, oh, Pokemon was teaching people witchcraft, and they pointed to like that one episode of the anime where it was Sabrina, like I kid you not, there was Sabrina, the teenage witch in Pokemon, but it was the gym leader of Saffron City who was named Sabrina, and she was a teenager, and she basically was well, she was magical. I don't know whether she'd be called a witch, but she had psychic powers, and it was very weird. Those episodes were very poorly done, mind you, but then they tried to say that all of the Pokemon video games and cartoons, that it was all demonic, and that parents should not let their kids watch Pokemon or play the games and all that stuff. And it's very strange. And people are going to do what they're going to do, and people are unfortunately have control over their children when they're parents, and they can teach their children these horrible religions. Oh, we have more comments. Absolutely. Suppressing natural urges and instincts creates an imbalance, and your desires end up become obsessions and fetishes because you're trying to deny them, and you have no healthy outlet. Yes, makes sense. But yeah, it's weird because they tried to, anything that was fun that people enjoyed, they wanted to teach that it was a sin. And so after a while, you get tired of that and you want to have some fun. And then it gives people the idea, well, God must be this mean person who doesn't want anyone to have any fun. And that's the issue about it. We have a real issue here. And this relates to so much of everything because, see, the Christian God is something that people believe in by a combination of the stories that are in the Bible and what their church and what their parents teach them. There's this God concept. If you grew up Christian, is you think of this mean man in the sky who wants to burn you forever. That was the concept I grew up with of God. And so here's what's interesting. Now, this is where things like biopantheism come in. For example, like Poffo, the biopantheism dude, for example, and pantheism in general that equates God with the universe is a different concept of God. And there's discussions to be had on that. And now, of course, even modern types of pantheists generally stay away from the word God because God has an unfortunate established meaning in today's world, because people have been in monotheistic religions like Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, where they believe in this God that is very human-like and gets angry at humans and punishes them for their sins and that sort of thing. So the pantheist concept of God, the omnia, for forever, all, the universe, whatever you call it, is very different than the Christian God. It's not the same thing, Let's see. I want to talk about how inadequate the Bible is for a minute. Yeah, totally. I'm going to use the restroom again, but then I'll be checking back here in just a sec for more comments. The Bible is not complete or perfect in any way. There are things in it which clearly should not be, and things that should be in it which clearly are not. For example, 1, the God-ordained killing, plundering, violence, murder, incest, and rape, along with the slaughter of countless sacrificial animals in the Old Testament. Yep, I know all about all that, Poffo. The Bible tends to not be very vegan-friendly. Oh, Neoskeptic says, Poffo, I want to debate you on biopantheisms. Well, I bet Poffo might debate you on his biopantheism. Who knows? I just got given the most perfect vegan black and white cupcake. Awesome. Nice. Yeah, this is crazy stuff, man. Like seriously, like yeah, this is just weird stuff. But yeah, see, the Bible is not very vegan friendly, and it's something I wish that I really wish that the people who knew me in churches that are still Christian would understand why I left had to do with the actual teachings of your religion, of the Bible and the church, what's actually written, what's actually preached, which may or may not be based on the Bible, why I left. It's not just that Christians were mean to me, although they were. The endorsement and promotion of poverty, war, genocide, slavery, bigotry, discrimination, sexism, misogyny, homophobia, patriarchy, animal cruelty, child abuse, human-animal sacrifice, and delusional thinking. The archaic condemnation of homosexuality and premarital sex, along with the naive promotion of marriage as the only context for sexual activity, the burden, expectation, and responsibility of proselytizing and converting others, along with the command to make disciples of all nations. Yeah. See, that's the thing is, what in the world, neo-skeptic, what the hell? Neo-skeptic's leaving comments too. Neo-skeptic says, we know that, Pafo. Then he says, Jesus Christ, Pafo, you are more annoying than God. No, he's not that annoying. No, you're not annoying, Papa. Just kidding. If you don't see all these things in the Bible, then you don't know your Bible well enough. Well said, Pafo, because I did read so much of the Bible growing up, and it's a fundamental disagreement with what Christianity and Judaism is about by extension, because the times in the Old Testament, God commanded animal sacrifice and even ordered the Israelites to go and kill other nations and then struck people dead for various things like the Onan story, and then the Genesis 6 flood story, killing everybody except Noah's family and some of the animals. There's so much murder in the Old Testament, and then people like, when you bring that up, oh, well, that's the Old Testament. That doesn't matter anymore. And then the New Testament, well, Jesus is in the New Testament, and Jesus is loving and nice. But if you don't believe in him the right way, you burn forever in hell. So that's just weird. Oh, I'm glad you asked, Neo-skeptic. Chandler, what do you think about Jainism? Now, I've read a little bit about Jainism. In fact, it was one of the things I researched. I researched Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainism back a long time ago. I found them to be very confusing, but Jainism is nice because it's the only religion that really strives to follow the ahimsa principle. Ahimsa is a word meaning nonviolence that comes from those Eastern religion. It must be some kind of Hindu type of a word they use in the Eastern countries, so that's the thing. Let's see here. And then Pafo says, likewise, there are things that the Bible does not focus on, which it actually should. Physical, emotional, and psychological health and nutrition, child abuse, rape, alcoholism, and drug abuse, drug addiction, animal cruelty, animal rights, and wildlife conservation, love and respect for animals, nature, and the environment. Yeah. Women's rights, domestic violence, and the rights of the victim, condemning slavery, making clear the immoral nature of owning another. There's even times when the Bible actually, there's parts in the Old Testament where God says to the Israelites that they may own slaves from other nations, but they can't own slaves of their own people, of the other Hebrews or Israelites. So God actually says slavery is okay in the Old Testament, and yet people try to give Christianity the credit for ending slavery in America, which is weird. I don't think that's how it happened. Let's see here. I agree. The only problem is in Jainism, they say women can't be enlightened. That is very sad that even Jainism, which is the nonviolent religion, has to be against women. That's so weird. All these things should be in the Bible, but they're not. Agreed, Pafo. And the neo-skeptic also, they think animals are lower life forms. Being born as a human is the only way to attain enlightenment. Very interesting. It's very strange because of all the religions that I have looked at all, like I feel like I could sort of get behind. Well, of course, I can get behind biopantheism, and I can sort of get behind the idea of Unitarian Universalism. Except I would take like their statement about the divinity of all humans to also extend to the other animals. I feel like if you take Unitarian Universalism and then you put veganism into it, you sort of get something like biopantheism, something like that. Oh, let's see. The word war was literally the very first word for owning anyone, and the anyone just happened to have been animals because the word war originally meant one who keeps animals. Interesting. I didn't know that about war. I thought war was just where people fight and kill each other and stuff. I didn't know it had anything to do with people owning. Oh, how do you respond to the trolley problem? Oh, the trolley problem. It's been a long time, Neo. But yeah, the trolley problem where like there's an oncoming train, and I think like you can stop the train by pushing a fat man into the way of the tracks, and the guy's so yeah, the guy's so fat that the train has to stop because the train can't run over this guy because he's so fat. But then he dies in the process, but saves the people further down the line. So that I think that's the trolley problem, but I think there was more than one trolley problem where you have the option to like switch the direction of where the train goes, thereby saving some people, but then killing someone else. The trolley problem is complicated, man, but it's one of the ancient philosophical issues. Yeah. Unitarian and Universalist churches are very vague. They just have a semblance of church, but they encourage whatever you already believe. Yeah. Appeal to hypothetical. Yeah. Yeah. See, that's why I like the Unitarian Universalists, just because you can kind of believe whatever you already believe and be Unitarian Universalist, that sort of thing. Because, that's the nice thing about it, which is basically the benefit of atheism as well. See, atheism is where you don't necessarily believe in a God, but you are free to have your own opinion on any ethical or political or social issue. So it's just the freedom to search for truth, whatever label you use, the freedom to search for truth about what the facts are, but also about what's the right way to live, moral truths as well as just scientific, physical truths. Yeah, let's see here. Oh, okay, man, crazy stuff. Let's see. Do you think it is ethical to kill predators in the wild? Oh, man, I don't know if I'll have time to answer that or not, but vegans have talked about that idea. I'd ask if all the people on the train were vegan anti-natalists. Good one, Sovereign. And Paul says, I don't answer those kinds of questions because they assume parameters and offer no context. Yeah, like I feel like those, let's see, Neo, there are only 3 morally justifiable reasons to harm animals. 1, self-defense / survival. And we'll see what Paffa says for the other 2 reasons. This is very interesting, this whole trolley problem and killing predators in the wild. Let's see. Accidentally unintentional. So that's number 2. We'll see what number 3 is. Okay. Oh, and then Neo Skeptic says 3 because Paffa said so. But here's the real reason 3. Murphy, euthanasia, for the sake of that organism. Those seem like some very interesting 3 principles there. three morally justifiable reasons to harm animals, and those are worth debating too. And then Sovereign said, by predators, are you talking about baby lickers, etc., or animals? Let's see. Yeah, but while I would like to personally reply to Neo-Skeptic's comment, do you think it is ethical to kill predators in the wild? I have a hard time answering this one because I can say I don't view it as being very effective to kill predators in the wild because I don't know how we could. What I will say about this is that it would make equal sense to kill a lion to save a gazelle as it would be to kill a human to save a cow. It's on equal footing. It's the same thing. So whatever standard you apply to one species, if you're willing to kill one type of predator, you have to be willing to kill another type of predator as well. So you can make up your own mind where you stand on the issue, but you have to be consistent between species. Otherwise, you're just speciesist. Let's see here. Let's see. So your question, Neo, would fall under category 1. Interesting. Yeah, good point, Chandler, he says. And that's just if you value your own life. If not, let them eat you. I won't lose sleep over it. Yeah. But yeah, these questions, I like these kinds of questions, people, because see, this is what it's about: freedom of speech and honesty. People being able to ask the difficult questions, to discuss these difficult questions. And I like that because, yeah, it's nice. Let's see. Don't be speciesist in mean AF Russian accent. I don't know about that, Pafo. He says, this is interesting. So many comments, people. So many great comments. But yeah, these are interesting topics, I really think that I know people are unlikely to agree worldwide. I don't think people will ever all agree on any one thing. But people are always better for the discussion being had, because even if at the end of the discussion people still disagree and are on opposite sides of an issue, totally different opinions, they're both better for the experience because at least they've sharpened each other and they have had to talk about why they believe what they believe, that sort of thing. It's very positive. I used to think debates were pointless, but not necessarily, because if there's character growth, especially on both sides from it, it's good to have the talk. That's why podcasts and stuff like this are so great. All right. Yeah, I need to make dinner. Vegan BLT. Interesting. Yeah, let's see. There's a lot of suffering in the wild. Have you seen the way a lion kills a gazelle? It's brutal. Yeah, this is very strange, very good topics. Let's see. I always appreciate your honesty on these topics and your willingness to discuss these controversial topics, Chandler. Well, thanks, Neo. Let's see. I literally grew up being out on the land. I have encountered predators, and even I, a small woman, have never had to kill one or even try for that matter. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes it's better to just run away. Let's see. Of course, Neo, but don't you think we should get our shit together first, and at the very least eliminate the unnecessary suffering that we are causing before we try and tackle the animal kingdom? So, have you seen the way that you are not a lion? Yeah, interesting. Amen, Sovereign. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's crazy, And the thing is, these topics about whether or not we should be killing lions or bears that kill other animals, that sort of thing, these topics are interesting. I mean, obviously, they tend to distract from the issue at hand, and that is the fact that humans are a predator that is unnecessarily hurting these other animals, because humans can live off plants and don't need to eat these other animals, and they don't need to wear their fur or leather either. So those questions are a distraction. They're sort of, well, as Poffo just says, these kinds of questions always end up leading to the incessant appeal to nature logical fallacy. Yes, yeah. Are you vegan, Neo? With a name like Neo Skeptic, you sure better be vegan. That's my opinion. But yeah, see, but just as I was trying to explain that, then Poffo explains the logical fallacy and all that stuff. And Poffo is faster than, like, Poffo and I, we agree on a lot of things, but Poffo is faster at commenting it than I am thinking in my head the right way to express what I'm thinking, you know? Let's see. Oh, yes, I am vegan. Well, good. Then I approve you as a true Neo who has come out of the matrix. You get it? The matrix. Yeah. Yeah, it's nice. Yeah. And Neo Skeptic has been a really good commenter for a long time. Are you an animal rights activist doing all that you can to end the animal holocaust? Interesting. You know, and this is an interesting thing because some people are vegan, but they're not necessarily animal rights activists. And it's kind of a thing because, as some people say, veganism is not the most you can do, it's the least you can do. And I agree with that. You know, it's like simply choosing not to contribute to the suffering anymore is one thing. But then you can also become a vegan activist and try to educate others. That's another thing you can do if you want to go beyond that. Let's see here. Okay. I participate in the animal save movement every now and then. Not as much as I can, though. Let's see here. I so wish I knew who you are. You followed me for some time, but I still can't put a face to the name. I think Neo Skeptic works in mysterious ways. That's what he does, or she. We technically don't know whether Neo Skeptic is a he or she, and we should not assume gender identity. But yes, Neo Skeptic actually commented on this channel back when I was doing podcasts. We're talking 2014, 2015. Even back then, Neo Skeptic was a regular commenter back then. You know, so, but yeah, and I was doing podcasts with George, Mitch, Mike Walsh, Jamie, WSD. And these guys, as far as I know, all these guys are still alive. But let me tell you something, okay? Things happened in my life that temporarily stopped me from doing podcasts with people. I was living with my mom, going under a lot of stress. I was getting a new job. I was having conflict and fights with friends over political issues. So much was happening. I don't need to go into all that. But you know what? I'm a lot stronger now than I was back then. A lot of things have happened since then. I'm a stronger person, so that now I can handle disagreements and I can handle debates. And you know, there was a time when I was almost destroyed by that one person on the podcast who was trying to tell me that I should kill myself, because at the time I was suicidal, and I've been suicidal in my life, and it really hit me hard. But so much has changed since then. And now I know my worth. I know my self-worth, and I know why I'm here. And so nobody can try to talk me into suicide. They can't get me as depressed as back then. I've come a long way since then. So I'm a lot stronger, and I can handle podcasts better than I could in those days. Let's see here. Do what you can, where you can, but you should read my articles first. I've been around for a while, always supported Chandler. I will, Poffo. Look at you guys getting along, being all nice to each other. Yeah. All my great friends. I like my friends. got some good people who like to participate in these live streams by commenting and joining. It is really unfortunate that Sovereign's internet connection screwed up and she wasn't able to really discuss at length the in-depth topics. But I think we did cover the issue. The original topic of discussion was about, do men cause 100% of unwanted pregnancies? And I have my opinions on that. I try to share on Medium and I try to express it, and Sovereign tried to express her opinion. It's a very good one, and thanks, Neo. You're doing good work, Chandler. We are proud of what you stand for, what you have accomplished. Well, thanks. That means very much, Neo. Yeah, you see, understand that I'm a person who was criticized heavily because of my pro-life position, but my pro-life position was not even necessarily one of trying to make abortion illegal, because I agree that doesn't get to the root of the problem. So what I do is I promote freedom of speech. That's my newest thing now, is promoting honesty and freedom of speech, because however much I would like the world to change, I would like people's hearts to change, I would like laws to change in some cases, I suppose. But what I've learned to do now is I've learned that I have to live by the principle of truth and then accept the consequences. So the consequences of me speaking what I believe to be true and what others believe to be true, the consequences of these discussions, whatever happens, we can't know. We can't know what the outcome of these discussions will be, or if it will even have much of an impact. But it does have impact for all of us personally involved in the conversation, and that's a good thing. Let's see here. Next week sometime when I go into town where internet works better, yeah, we could do it, another one. Next topic, the mystical experience and channeling the divine. Next podcast topic. Yeah, nice idea. Yeah, Papa and I have had some interesting experiences. There was one other thing I do want to talk about. Now, I highly doubt that most people are patient enough to actually watch the stream to the end to listen to this, but there's something so I have this friend, okay? I'm not going to mention their name, but this friend who thinks that I'm selling my soul because I work in a grocery store and I sack people's meat, dairy, and eggs. I sack their animal products because I am a grocery store courtesy clerk at Hy-Vee. That's my job. That's the job I clock in and I'm paid for. I don't necessarily think that I'm selling my soul just because I have to work a job that isn't vegan. I would like to have a completely vegan job where I'm never having to touch animal body parts and byproducts, but that's not my situation at the time. So I'm feeling lucky that I have a job, but here's the bottom line, is that having a job you're paid for is something you do because you need the money and you have to survive. I have to pay rent and have to pay bills, have to have income. So of course I work a job, but it's hard to find a vegan job. And if I ever do find a job that's vegan, that there at least doesn't involve direct touching of animal products, that would be an improvement. But I don't always get the most direct choice in job opportunities. That's just what I'm saying, Yeah, and yeah, we have topics, this is stupid. So should we not shop at a grocery store because they sell animal products? Strive toward a more ideal job. That's all. I need to go cook. Food sitting out. Yeah, I guess you better go to cook your vegan food there, Pafo. But yeah, see, here's the thing is, yes, there are, I don't even know if there are any vegan grocery stores, entirely vegan grocery stores. And so if you go to Walmart, Hy-Vee, Target, Price Chopper, you name it, all the food stores are going to be selling animal products. So if you buy oranges and apples or bananas from the produce department of the grocery store where I work, you're still paying the store. So some people would say that you're indirectly you're still not being vegan because you're buying from a grocery store that sells animal products. Now, here's the thing. When there are vegan grocery stores that we can choose to buy our products from that do not sell any animal products, then we have an actual capitalistic choice to choose to buy from a vegan only grocery store. In my area at this time, I don't have a choice to buy food or to work at a store like that. But if a store ever comes to Independence, Missouri, you can bet I'll be applying, because that sounds exciting to me, to work a job where I never have to even see animal products and that all the customers are shopping there because they're vegan. That would be a beautiful world, and I would very much like to see that world. We have to do the best that we can in our current situation, but I think the world is slowly improving in some ways. See, there is the first in the U.S. is in Glendale, Arizona, my hometown. Well, then I hope I get to visit Glendale, Arizona sometime. That would be awesome. Yeah. But yeah, that's the thing is, here's actually my plan. My plan job wise is, I just had to leave that one job that injured my knee, and now I'm working at Hy-Vee as a courtesy clerk. But you know what I want to do? I actually want to get into the produce department if something becomes available. Because if I worked in the produce department, then I would be putting all of the produce, the fruit and the vegetables, I would be putting it where it goes. So that would mean not only would I know the exact location of every fruit and vegetable in produce, because I was responsible for stocking it there, but I would also see the price of them all. And I would know which fruit or vegetable was on sale that day. So it's like, hey, here's some zucchini. I'll buy extra for my mom. She loves zucchini. Or I'll get myself some oranges, some apples, bananas, peanuts, walnuts, pineapple smells, grapes, melons, oranges, and coconut shells. Oh, yeah, And then unless you're a nerd, you wouldn't even know that song. That's from the DK rap. Yeah, but anyway. Yeah. Maybe work at a farmer's market. Interesting. I don't know if there is one in Independence. Plus, there have been issues with farmers markets because of this whole COVID pandemic. Isn't it weird? We have more comments I see here. Food Fight Grocery is all vegan, but they recently shut down due to COVID and lack of business. Oh, that is so sad. Food Fight, nice name. We should party it up someday. We can have Papa dress up as a unicorn. Actually, I don't think Papa would do that, but I do have a unicorn costume. In fact, I dressed up as a unicorn to demo the rainbow unicorn flavor of the Bang energy drink back at the other Hy-Vee and Lee Summit a long time ago. I still have my unicorn costume. Papa's like, Neo, no. Papa doesn't want to dress up as a unicorn, but that's totally okay, because as we all know, I am the true unicorn. This little image is meant to represent me. It represents my human, yet at the same time, unicorn identity. I am a very interesting type of animal for sure. But yes, I am the unicorn. Pawful is not the unicorn. That unicorn is me. And there's also Honesty the unicorn, which is me, but at the same time, not me. It's complicated. Truth in the shape of a horse. That's what Honesty the unicorn is. He's like, come on, Pawful, do it. Food Fight is a good name. Yeah, that is cool. But yeah, I mean, seriously, like, man, this has been a good episode. This has been such a good podcast, people, I mean, it fills me with hope when I see such great commenters, such great, Sovereign Caleb says, my image is me. Yeah, I see. You have the wolf, because Sovereign K. Lazarus, in case you didn't know, is the big bad wolf, the vegan big bad wolf. That's the thing. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, I mean, and And so many, look, seriously, names, people, the names we have are so good. Like now, like Poffo goes by Poffo, but also as Nathan Mornday. And then I'm Chastity White Rose, even though my legal name is Chandler Klebb. That's my birth name. Um, and then Sovereign, I don't even know. I don't think that's her real name, but the name she chooses. And then we also have Serenity. You know, there's some really cool vegan friends I have that choose their own names. Awesome names. Let's see. Chess, I want to introduce you to someone who's even more cringe than you. Oh, really? Someone more cringe than me? I've followed him for a long time. He's a great guy. Okay, you got me curious. Someone more, because I do have a reputation for being very cringe, which you probably figured out by the content of this very live stream. Yeah, I'm curious what person Pop was going to say is more cringe than me. I'm really curious about this one. I'm not sure if he'll mention it while I'm still on the live stream or if he'll tell me later. But I just so you guys know, I do check the messages you send me, and some of the links that Papa sent me recently, I've looked at. There was this one guy, Matthew Silver or whatever, that I watched part of it, but then my friend came over, and then I was doing stuff with him, so I never actually finished watching that. Yeah. I'm cringe too. Yeah, Sovereign, you're pretty cringe. That's what I like best about you. I like how you do your just quick little live streams, just talking about whatever, no filter. I love it. That is the kind of thing that people like me thrive on. Oh, so that is him, that Matthew Silver guy. Yeah, that guy was interesting, dude. Like that video was like 25 minutes long. I got through about 12 minutes of it. I need to finish that one. I had a hard time following what he was saying, and then sometimes he would just like stare into space. He was like, and that's how he was sometimes. Like he would just spaced out and stare off in the distance. That was cool. But you know, he was a cool dude. You know, and there were so many comments on that video. So I want to finish that. But yeah, I mean, there's so many cringe people, and you know. People might wonder, why am I so cringe? Why do I do the things I do? I mean, yeah, sometimes I sing bad. I'm not the best singer. Actually, I can sing pretty good sometimes, but I try to sing above the range I can. You know, so if I sing like turn around, look at what you see in her face, the mirror of your dreams. You know, I can sing like that, but that's not the way I sing when I'm being funny. When I'm trying to be funny and I'm just goofing off, I'm like, turn around, look at what you see in her face, the mirror of your dreams. You know, that's just kind of the way I do it. Sometimes my voice is better than others, but I actually can sing more normal, or I could sing in a high-pitched voice, but I'm really straining my voice a little bit. But I like to sing high pitch. You know, I just like to go crazy, like sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows. Everything that's wonderful is what I feel when we're together. You know, just stuff like that. Yeah, yeah. Watch the videos and stop ruining my childhood. Have you ever heard Papa singing in the bathtub? All you hear is bubbles. He sings with his rear end. Well, I can't say I haven't come close to the same thing, but I highly doubt that that Neo Skeptic really knows about the way that Papa sings with his butt in the bathtub. I highly doubt. I think he's just making stuff up. But yeah, anyway. But the point is, I'm very cringe. Sometimes I do some stupid dances. Sometimes I sing. And people might wonder, why am I so cringe? Well, to tell you the truth, which is what I do best, I'm very cringe because I understand that we live in a world where there's so many people, everybody has a YouTube channel, everybody, is selling books these days, but you really have to stand out. In order for your voice to be heard, you really have to stand out. And it just so happens, because of my weird autistic nature and the things that are unique about me, I happen to be very good at being cringe. And take song vocal classes. In fact, I am considering that, Pafo. Like, I am considering taking voice lessons. I'm also getting back into dance lessons finally. I'm trying anyway. I'm limited what I can do. But if I do actually want to take voice lessons or hire some voice coach to train me, because I really would like to be able to sing and speak in a realistic sounding female voice. That's the thing about this. And even though there's nothing wrong with my male voice necessarily, I still would prefer a female voice. I really don't like my male sounding voice. I don't like it. I like the sound of a female voice, and I would like to be able to hear myself speak in that type of voice. So I can't really do it. I need vocal training to do that sort of thing. So maybe the day will come where I can sing and speak in a hybrid. Maybe I could even get, if you're really good, you can even be a cartoon voice actor. That's the ultimate thing. You could even work from home, maybe in some cases, to be a voice actor. So that's the thing. It'd be a lot of fun. But yeah, I mean, this has been such a positive live stream, and like as I was saying, is I will use my talents at being cringe. People may like my content, they may really hate it, but nobody is going to forget who I am and what I stand for, or of my friends, my great friends, like you guys right now. We got Pafo, we got Sovereign, we got Neo-Skeptic. We need to have Serenity on here. She's great. And Monique is great too, but she's busy in her own way. We haven't done podcasts in a while. But yeah, it's like I actually have some good friends, and connecting with you through these live streams is a big reason I do this, because I like the interaction. It's been, this whole social distance lockdown thing has been hard, but all of the greatest people I know, it seems, are far away, and it's a very positive interaction. And so, I probably should end this live stream at some point soon, but before I do, does anybody have any more questions, any more topics that I haven't covered, that you still want me to answer in this live stream? Otherwise, we could always just look forward to the next live stream. Yes, Neo-Skeptic, this has been good, yes. In fact, here's the plan, is tomorrow, I actually am planning to have a live stream with my sister. And people haven't met my sister. And so we may be doing that tomorrow afternoon. We'll see how it goes, because nobody's ever seen my sister on my YouTube channel. But my sister, let's just put it this way. My sister is very cringe too. You can tell we're related. We really are. Well, okay then, guys. I guess that this will be the end of this live stream. We've been going for a little over 2 hours, but it's been a very positive interaction. It's just been very good, and I'm very excited for what the future holds for us. And I hope that this podcast, this live stream, has been helpful and enlightened you in some way, and educated you about new topics and thoughts you hadn't considered. And if so, leave some comments, and if you share any comments with me, also let me know if you'd like me to share them with my other friends here, because we're all in this together. It's not just me. You understand that? It's not just me. It's me and these other great people who participate in the conversation along with me, So yes, it's been good. And so thank you, everybody. And I guess good night. Tonight has been a good night.